morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are seeing this video. So today I'm at Zanskar Valley, somewhere in Padam region. Look at these amazing views out here of the river and the mountains. So we are on our Zanskar trip. This is our, I think, 7th day. We started from Bangalore and we came via Manali. There were a lot of news in terms of the landslides, in terms of COVID. So there was a lot of risk involved in this trip, but we were so bloody bored at home. We thought we'll take some risk. What's the life without a little bit of salt in it or risk in it, right? So we are here finally. I think loving it. It's amazing place. If somebody wants to come to the Himalayan region, I would really recommend Zanskar Valley. A lot of people go to Ladakh, basically do the Leh circuit, which is the typical Pangong, So Modiri, Handar, and all those places. They're good, very good. It's become a bit commercialized, so I wouldn't say that I wouldn't recommend people going and doing that, but then I think this is a place which is untouched right now. Not many tourists here. I would say there are no tourists here. In our trip so far, we've I think seen only one tourist family and then a couple of bikers. So yeah, it's an isolated place. You gotta prepare well for such kind of trips, but then it's really worth it. So I'm just enjoying the views here. We're also doing a cookout. My wife is basically cooking at this place. Let me just give you a little bit glimpse of it. I mean, we carry all the cooking stuff with us. So she's making rajma and rice. And if you look at the car, it's all stuffed. Anyway, I'm going to give you a tour of the things what we packed as well. I'll talk about it in brief. What I really wanted to do today was talk about Ford Endeavour and its capabilities in such kind of terrains. I mean, a lot of people buy these cars and then only drive them maybe in the cities or do a little bit of off-roading nearby places, right, nearby cities, which is good. It's a very capable car for such kind of terrains, but I think where it really outshines and where it really shows its power is these kind of places. So I just thought I'll give you a bit of a glimpse about the car's capabilities. I'm not from Ford, guys, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sell anything here. I'm just talking about a person who loves driving, a person who loves long drives, and especially loves off-roading. And then wants to go into such kind of places. You need to really have a very capable car, what you can really depend upon. And this is not the first time I'm doing this, a long distance tour. I've done Zanskar last time. Just one place which I covered, and that's where I decided that the full circuit of Zanskar range. So here I am. I've done Rajasthan, done sand dunes, with this car. I've done Kashmir, and then when we talk about Kashmir, a lot of people talk about again the tourist places like Dal Lake, and what else is there on the tourist side? Gulmarg, maybe Paramount, Sonmarg. We went through those places. We did not spend too much time there. As I said, right, I love the offbeat places. We generally avoid to go to the tourist places. So we explore the countryside. We explore, the other places, where generally it is difficult, right, for the people to reach. And if we can do it, why not? So that's what I think we've been doing so far. It's been almost about 4.5 years. I've been having this car or this SUV, I would say, and it has amazed me with its driving capabilities. I'll not go into the features, what it provides. I think there are a zillion of videos, which you can see on YouTube and other platforms. But what I'm going to focus on is, how it behaves, in these kind of terrains. So first, let's talk about, I think, the car itself, right? Why did I buy this? So I'm gonna go deep into why I took the plunge, decision factor, what were the conversations I had before I bought this car. Alright guys, so I was talking about why I bought this car. I think I've been kind of doing off-roading and long distance touring ever since or maybe from last 15 years or plus 15 years. And in one of my trips, where I was in the Spiti region. For those who don't know Spiti, it's basically a place in Lahore in Himachal Pradesh. And it's one of the beautiful places, right? I wouldn't compare that with any other place. It has its own character. So if you've not gone to Spiti, I think you should go to Spiti as well. But coming to the point, I was there. I was driving a Mahindra Scorpio because that's what I owned that time, and I was pretty happy with that car until and that was a two-wheel drive, right? I didn't have a 4 version that time, or I definitely could not invest in it. So what I had was a two-wheel drive Mahindra Scorpio, and I was at a place called Tashi Gang, which is a little bit further. If you go to the Spiti area, there is a place called Comic, and if you go further up from Comic, there is a place called Tashi Gang, just before the Tibetan border out there. So I was there. It was pretty harsh weather. There was a lot of snow. I think some places we saw almost about 2 to 3 feet of snow, and maybe I was stupid to take a two-wheel drive in that region. We didn't knew until we actually hit that place that there is so much snow out there. So we tried our luck. We managed to kind of climb up a little bit for a fairly good distance, and at some point, at a point, we hit a glacier, and that was a kind of a decision moment that whether we go down further or not. But we decided that yes, let's try to cross this and then we'll see. If we get into some problem, then we'll have to deal with it, right? So that's what we did. We managed to actually pass through the glacier. We were pretty happy. We went down further, probably about another 2 to 3 kilometers, and then when we were coming back, we got stuck at the same point, basically where the glacier was, and that was the moment, right, where I was kind of really cursing me. Why did I get a two-wheel drive into such a such a road? And I was with family, which was another cause of worry. So we spent like about 1.5 hour pushing the car, doing everything what we could to take out the car from that mess, and then finally it happened, right? And that was a lesson learned, and maybe a decision point where we decided that, hey, we need a 4x4, and that's where the search started. And then I decided, let's look for a car which is capable of long distance touring, and as well as good at city traffic, and also will not burn a hole in the pocket. I think it was kind of one of the point, but not too much of a problem. I think the three criteria what I had when I was looking for a new car was, it has to be a long distance tourer, full stop, right? It has to be comfortable. It should be able to accommodate at least 4 people, because we have a family of 4 people, and then I do have parents who definitely don't go with us on long distances. We've done a couple of maybe 1,000 or less than 1,000 kilometer trips with them, and it's been comfortable, at least in Endeavour, but not an ideal situation to be. So that was the first criteria. The second criteria was that it should be reliable. We should be able to throw anything at that vehicle, and should not get into too many hassles, too many repairs, at least not on the road, or not in places like this, right, where you don't get any mechanics, you don't get anyone to help you, and especially talking about Ford, right, doesn't have, I would say, as good dealer network or service network as maybe the Marutis of the world, or even Mahindra, I think, and a very bright network. But anyway, I think we really wanted a product which is reliable, so it doesn't need a service, or it should not need a service, and whenever we need, probably should be able to kind of get that easily. The third one was, maybe you'll laugh at it, was the music system. I love music while I'm driving. I really want a good music system, which keeps me happy, I would say, when I'm driving. So when I first took the test drive of this vehicle, it blew me away, right? I mean, I wouldn't say that it's like exceptionally good, but then it is good, right? I mean, at least I'm not an audiophile, but I do have a good taste of music. I listen to various genres of music, so it does a fair job, right, with the stock music system. So that was good, and the best thing, I think, which I like, when you are on long distances, is the noise cancellation, so that it doesn't, the outside sound doesn't interrupt your music, right? So you really truly enjoy your music. So that way I really like that. So these were, I would say, the three main criterias, when I really invested in this car. A lot of people have, other, criterias, but then these were the three, which I considered. Alright, so coming to the other capabilities, which I really looked at, were my four capabilities of the car. If I can do maybe not really, very, very hard. Let me turn this way. I think there's a lot of wind. So not, really, really hard off-roading. For that, I think, you'll require maybe a Thar, or, I can't think of any other vehicle for really hard off-roading in India. So I mean, this car can do a lot of off-roading. I've done, a lot of off-roading events. It does, it has the power, it has the capabilities. It's just that, do you really want to throw a 40-45 lakh car onto those obstacles and damage something, right? So that's something, which is always there when you are doing off-roading. But anyway, so we went for a event which Ford organized, for doing a trial run of the off-roading capabilities of Ford Endeavour, and we had a lot of obstacles, and went through a lot of off-roading capabilities demos, right? And I was pretty happy with what we could do, in that event. And I think that was a decision, point where I said, hey, this is a car for me. Other cars which I considered, but probably dropped, were Toyota Fortuner. I think that's a very, very capable car, but I really did not like the attitude, of the company, sales reps, in Bangalore. I went to a couple of them, I would say two of them. I wouldn't name them, but then, they were very cold. They gave me probably maybe 2 minutes of the time. They thought probably I'm not too interested, in buying it, even though I told them I wanted to kind of, buy this maybe in the next 1 or 2 months, and I was very hot customer, but I don't think, they took it seriously. Anyway, but the car didn't work for me. It was a new version of the Fortuner which was recently launched. One of the surprising things which happened to me, Toyota just refused to give a test drive. They said, you book it and then we'll see if we have a vehicle, we can give you a test drive, which was bullshit, right? I definitely cannot invest 40-45 lakhs, right? My hard-earned money, without test driving, a car, right? I mean, I can't buy without test driving a car, so I dropped it immediately. I was really, really, really fascinated, by Pajero, but then that was the old model, with very old school features. And then there was a serious lack of service centers in Bangalore. So I had to drop that, but I was definitely, considering that. If the service was good, I would have probably pulled the plug on that. But when I saw Endeavour, and when I took the test drives for maybe couple of times, I really liked the attitude of the Ford people. They were responsive, they were addressing my queries, they were giving me all the information what any customer would need. They helped me with the finance. They, I think, addressed everything, what probably a customer would need when they're buying a car. So I think all in all it went in the direction of Ford Endeavour, so I pulled it, and I booked the brown color, the copper color. I think that's what they say. Wrong. But then for some reason that color was not available, and I was given this color, right? It's not a bad color. I always wanted brown, but then I think at that point they even stopped selling that color. So I think all in all this is the color which I got. Alright, so another feature I really use, or I've used a lot, is the mud and snow mode, which I generally use when you're passing through the slush or really muddy road. So in this trip, needless to say, we had to cross maybe kilometers and kilometers of slush, at various places from Darcha till Pune, which was hell of a drive. It was very adventurous, but then it wasn't something which I really think that any SUV can do. I mean, cars can do as much as the driver can make it do. So even if you have, let's say, a 4x4, any other 4x4, I think they can do it. That the driver also has to know the capabilities of the car very well, and what it can do and what it can't, and then decide whether you can or you want to take that off. So in the slushy areas, I've used these modes. I've never had this problem, even without the mode, right? You just drive in a normal all-wheel drive mode. 80% of the time it just takes it, right? And if it is too slushy, too much slushy, maybe just use the snow mode, right? If it is very I would say snowy. I've been into places like Shinkula in this trip, where there was a lot of snow on the road, and we used that mode, which kind of really helped us. So check out this video, where we are passing through a lot of gravel, loose gravel, and the car just did it without any fuss, guys. And that's where my confidence with the car increased a lot, right? After 4.5 years of owning this car, I think I do not regret at all that why did I invest whatever 40 lakhs 45 lakhs I paid for this car. So I think it's very capable of any obstacles, of any terrain, of any any trail you want to go and drive on, which is very good, right? You can do long distance touring, you can also get into off-road conditions, and that's what you want, right? I mean, if you are an adventure freak like me, you want to go into such places and want to be worry free, because that's what matters, I think, to me. Invest in a good car. And I think in India, other than Ford Endeavour, at this point I really cannot think of another brand or another manufacturer in the same segment. There might be one or two other SUV brands which are higher up in the segment. It's a different segment altogether, but personally I'm not experienced, so I really cannot talk about that. But then Ford Endeavour has been good for me. It has really helped me in every terrain, in every road trip, whatever I've done. It has always kept me safe. I'll talk about some of the other features, like the common features, for it. But I think for just the long distance touring and off-roading capabilities in such kind of terrains, you can just close your eyes and go for this vehicle. I mean, if this is what you would want to do in the city, it's a very capable car, guys. I don't feel any stress, nothing at all while driving this in the city. Only problem what you see sometimes is the parking. It has a auto, or I would say semi-auto parking assist, which I sometimes use if I remember. But then in a city like Bangalore, it's very hard to get space where you can really use that feature and park it with that. But I've used it occasionally. I love that feature. It's just that I've not been able to kind of use it. It's not a problem of the car. I think it's just that I'm not able to use that. So I think all in all, it is a good car, very good car, very capable car in terms of the features. Alright guys, so one of the places where Endeavour really does well in this kind of terrain. I'm not sure if the terrain or the road is exactly visible, but I'm going through some muddy, rocky road with a lot of, I wouldn't say potholes, but just uneven roads. So Endeavour does pretty well here. The suspension, I would say, is not very hard, not very soft, so you can actually throw it around, and it performs really well, right? Especially the traction control feature, what's being given is pretty good. So if you have loose gravel on the road in such kind of roads, you don't need to worry about slipping or losing the control. Obviously, yes, if you keep the tire pressure to optimum, maybe around 30, 31, it will be much softer. And then in this terrain, I generally prefer somewhere about 30, 31. But then if you have a lot of luggage like what we have, maybe you can go up to 32, 33 as well, right? So it will give you a good comfort with that tire pressure, and as well as the drivability is going to be good. You will not have much of discomfort when you're driving. Suspension, as I said, it's pretty good, even the stock one. I don't feel like upgrading the suspension in Endeavour. When probably it will start giving any issue, I'll consider. But then in my last 4.5 year drives, at various places, various terrains, I have not felt any problem so far. So it's pretty good, I would say. And it's, sorry, I was just going through a rough patch. So the suspension is good, but you gotta drive at some same speeds to have a comfortable ride, right? I mean, obviously in these kind of places and these kind of roads, you can't go at high speed. You can go at high speed, but not recommended. I generally drive maybe around 20 kilometers an hour to about 30 kilometers an hour, not beyond that. So I think that depends upon what road conditions are there. Another thing which is very important in almost all the SUVs, including Endeavour, is the ground clearance. And not sure if you can see outside, the roads are literally broken. It's very uneven surfaces. I am literally at 27 degrees right now, heated, and there are a lot of ruts, there are a lot of water crossings, even the small one, big ones, and there are a lot of rough, very rough patches. So I think the ground clearance is very important for any car, especially the SUVs. And if you are coming to such kind of terrain, such kind of places, you should have a car, which can, bear, or I would say, which has a high ground clearance, so that you don't scratch or you don't, hit the underbody of the car. We've done a lot of water crossings in this trip in Zanskar, where we have crossed, a lot of riverbeds. Needless to say, there was a lot of slush, a lot of loose gravel, and on top of that, water, which was almost 3 to probably 4 feet deep. So the ground clearance helps, even if sometimes we've seen there are big rocks, when it comes to these kind of roads, or the water crossings, within the water crossing. So it really helps. So whenever you're buying a SUV, or if you're considering buying Ford Endeavour, be sure that the ground clearance will not be a problem. It sails through most of the places. Of course, you got to know how to drive through those kind of terrains. I'm gonna stop here. I think there's a police check post. We might have to do an entry or something, so I'll just go and do that. Alright guys, so a couple of other things which I really would want to talk about, other than what I've already spoken. One is, I think, a very important part of this kind of terrain, or I would say the part of driving in this part of the terrain, or these kind of terrains, is that the hill descent control. Now, why that is important is there is a lot of ups and downs you go in these terrains. Like you have to climb up mountains, and then you have to go down the slope, and you don't get any roads here, right? I mean, there'll be sometimes rocky, there'll be sometimes muddy, there'll be gravel, there'll be broken stones, broken. It's just hard to explain, right? What kind of trails, what you will get, right? So, and there could be slopes, which could be like 30 degrees, or even I've been to a couple of slopes and inclines, which could be around maybe more than 30-35 degrees, right? In these kind of terrains, or in these kind of situations, I think having hill descent control always helps. I use that extensively in this vehicle, because the car can actually decide at what pace, or you can decide at what pace you want to go, but then the car will actually apply the brakes depending upon the speed, depending upon the terrain, depending upon I would say the kind of trail you are in. So it really helps. It has helped me a lot. It takes out the physical work of applying the brakes every time you're on a downhill. And then while you're climbing, you can, I found putting it on hill descent control, and this is especially if you're on I would say the loops, right? And when you are turning, sometimes your vehicle gets stalled. You have to come back, and then you have to stop and come back, and then progress further, right? Or start again. So there, if you have the hill descent control, it holds, right, the car in that way. So if you have a valley behind you, you're not at least scared that if you don't put the brakes in time, you'll fall down. So hill hold and as well as the hill descent control, both are good options, I would say. As I said, it helps me a lot. I use that a lot. I just love it. How Ford has incorporated that in Endeavour. It's an amazing feature, and it's very reliable. I have never gone wrong with the hill descent control. I can set the speed with just the buttons on the steering. You don't have to really do any physical settings, right? Just press the button for engaging the hill descent control. It shows up in the display unit when it is on, and then the car takes control. It's as simple as that, but then it's one of the life-saving features which is there in this car. I really think for such kind of terrains, this is actually one of the most important features, right? You should have in a car for a pleasurable drive, I would say. So yeah, as I said, I use that a lot. I love that a lot. It makes my rides pretty safe and enjoyable. So really use that feature. Alright guys, so I was talking about the traction control of Endeavour, which is very good, and it does well on these kind of surfaces. why we need the higher ground clearance. You can see here, I think here I cannot get we have huge channels, we have water, we have rocks, and we have water crossing. So you can see for yourself how the Endeavour is doing. I'm not using any of the specialized 4x4 modes. It is just plain vanilla all-wheel drive system provided by Ford, and it does pretty well in most of the situations. If you have a tricky situation, you can use any of those modes. Generally, I use the rock mode. It is too extreme, and I need to drop the differential to get around the situation. But I think in 80 to 90% of the cases, I don't need to put any of the terrain management systems, right? So it just does it by itself. Guys, now that I've spoken about a lot of features, I just thought I'll talk about the ownership experience. A bit about the car. It's been, I think, pretty good experience so far. As I said earlier, also in the video, there have not been many breakdowns so far. There are not many, or there have not been many hiccups also. With the car. I have probably done just the general servicing most of the times, and not replaced too many products till now, or too many parts. Some of the things which I had to kind of replace, one was the horn pad, which was I think not functioning well. I kind of complained to Ford, and they immediately listened to me and replaced the whole horn pad, which was good, I would say. So I didn't have to kind of go through a long approval process or something, which I think some of the people have gone through it. I think I have heard about that, but in my case it was pretty smooth. The other thing which I have kind of replaced is the sunglass holder, and that thing was malfunctioning a bit, right? It was not closing, so again it was under warranty, and Ford basically replaced that free of cost. The other stuff, I think, which I don't know, I think it's probably because the terrains where I drive, I had to replace my rotors and basically the disc brakes and the shoes after about like 42,000 kilometers, and some people say it can last about 60,000, some people say it can last only till like what 35,000, but for in my case it was around 42,000, which I replaced it. The cost was very high. I don't know, if it's like a costly part, but yeah, I mean it is it is a bit costly. If I remember, I think I spent about 40,000+ INR on that, but it's your safety, right? I mean, I didn't want to kind of drive the vehicle, especially in these kind of terrains, without proper brakes, right? And the only thing between you and an accident would be a malfunctioning brake you have broken tar roads, you have all kind of stuff. You have rains, and so far it's been performing very well. The road grip is excellent, and off-road capabilities are just simply amazing. So the grip is very good, right? And I was talking about driving in those crazy slopes and inclines with loose mud and loose gravel and all that. But the tires just do a wonderful job. So I think the tires, if somebody is looking for a replacement, I would definitely recommend the KO2s. If you are a person who would want to do a little bit of off-roading or a lot of off-roading, then KO2s are definitely something what you should consider. All right, guys. So the other thing which I really like about Endeavour is the cabin. It's pretty amazing. I think I feel good sitting in this cabin. There's a lot of stuff. As I said, I'm not going to talk about all of the features that you can check out other videos, but I really wanted to kind of show you the stuff what you can carry while driving, and especially while you're on a long distance cruise. So I have a lot of stuff here. You can see a lot of cameras. So I carry with all this gear, and you can put a lot of USBs. There are 2 USBs what are provided that help a lot, and then there are 2 cigarette car chargers which really help. So what I do is I connect the car charger. I connect this kind of inverter, a power inverter, with the car charger. That gives me additional 2 power sockets and 4 USBs for charging my batteries and whatever gadgets you want to carry along. And then in terms of the space, let me just show you what all you can carry. So this is the cabin what we have. Pardon me for the mess what we've created, but then there is almost like a 1-bedroom apartment stuff here. And if you look at the back, we folded the rear seats and we've dumped all of our luggage. There are about 9 bags out there, 3 large ones, and then there are like multiple small ones, not small ones, the medium ones, which fill up the space. Then I have my camping gear. Then we got chairs, we got toolkit, and all that stuff. And then on this middle seats, we have everything what we need accessible, like the food stuff. So this is where you see this box with all the eatables. Then I have my cool bag with all the cold drinks. Then we got water. So basically it takes it can you can have a lot of stuff in here. And then generally when we travel with our kids, this middle seat is basically taken by them, and we free up the space so that they can be comfortable as well. So I don't think there is any shortage of space in Endeavour. You definitely have to plan in terms of what you want to carry and what not. But then it's pretty comfortable cabin, even for long distance cruising. At least my kids, who are I would say teenagers and more and older than teenagers, they don't complain of anything. So I think it's pretty good cabin. It can take a lot of stuff. You can take a lot of stuff with you when you're on so long trips. The AC is pretty good. It's very powerful if you need it. The sunroof is a blessing, I would say. We use that a lot in our trips, especially for photography and that stuff. And then another thing which I would want to show you I put this carrier here, which is basically some Chinese carrier which can take up a lot of luggage if you want to kind of carry luggage. And I have a Thule roof bar here. The rear one I've removed it because I had to put this carrier, so I use this occasionally, not every time. And then I have a roof bar light, which is pretty much needed if you are stuck, if you're late in the mountains or during an off-road trail activity, then you can switch on these. So yeah, all in all, it's a good kit. It's pretty comfortable. And then the rear, let me just show you. So you can look at how much stuff we carry. Of course, if you're going for a month-long trip, this is all what you will probably need, and especially if you are with a family. So I don't know, guys, if I'm missing anything in terms of the review of the vehicle. If you guys have any additional questions, just give me, just ping me. I have a blog which I write at www.amitpahuja.com. It's AMITPAHUJAA.com, and you can always get in touch with me. I'll be happy to clarify any questions you might have. So if you're really considering buying Endeavour, just go for it, guys. It's a fun vehicle. You will not regret the decision, I can tell you that. A lot of people complain about the mileage, but then this kind of vehicle is not for mileage, okay? I can tell you this. If you really want mileage, go and look for another car. If you want performance, you want fun factor, if you want to really go into such kind of regions with comfort, with safety, with peace of mind, I think Endeavour will not leave you disappointed. You'll be happy, very happy, I would say. In my last 4.5 years of ownership, as I said, I didn't spend anything humongous on the parts or on the service, so it's pretty reliable car. There are no teething issues also, I would say. Owning Mahindra Scorpio, which I had like for almost 5 years, there were always some teething issues, right, before the service and after the service. With Ford, probably I wouldn't say the same. It's pretty good, and if there are any issues, you can go and talk to the service station guys, and they really listen to you, they really help you. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know if I really want to upgrade this car, and if there is a car which I can upgrade to with such capabilities without going into the segments like Range Rover or Defender. Of course, Defender is something which I am really looking forward to, maybe, but then justifying that price tag with maybe the similar capabilities what Endeavour provides, or maybe a little bit more cosmetic changes and as well as a bit more capability. But I think this thing is serving good as of now. Maybe when it's time to upgrade, I'll think about Defender, because that's the only more capable car I think which is there in India selling right now. So yeah, so that's all about it, guys. I hope this was useful. And then I really urge you guys to visit this region from where I'm shooting. This is Zanskar Valley. We are at Badam, maybe around 10 kilometers away from Badam, and it's this lovely place. It'll give you a lot of fun. I mean, you'll have a lot of fun while driving to this place. It's risky. Some of the roads are very narrow, very torturous. But that's the fun, right? I mean, that's the adventure. What people look at when you have maybe such kind of cars, right? So I'm not pushing anyone to do this, but then if you're really looking forward to a region, where you can have a lot of fun from an adventure perspective, this is a very highly recommended place, guys. We are shooting videos for the place, for the drive till here and further down as well. So I'll send the link. It might be in the description. I'll put it in the description as well, so you can see those videos and then decide if you want to visit this place. So I think that's all I had. I hope this was useful for all of you, and thank you so much for listening to this, and I apologize for the sound quality. There is a lot of wind here. You might not I've got a clear and crispy sound, but I think this is the best I could do here. So apologies for that. So thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon, evening, night, morning, wherever you are, and look forward to some of the videos which I'll share later once we probably reach Bangalore from here. Alright, guys, thank you so much. This is Amit Pahuja signing off from Zanskar. Bye bye.